I love the power of the Roth. I mean, imagine you have an investment that you can put money into and they'll never tax you again
Yeah.
under the current laws.
And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland's certified financial planning professional. He is Tim Stearns, CFP, your resource, ladies and gentlemen, for a common sense approach to planning for your financial investment and retirement future. And of course, the founder and chief advisor, the certified financial planning professional at TJ Stearns Inc. And Tim, always a pleasure having you on the program. As much as we talk about planning for retirement and specifically the tax implications of retirement, I know you get a lot of questions about Roth IRAs.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it seems like, it's been around since 1997, the normal Roth and 2006 for the Roth 401k, but people still don't really know the ins and outs of it and really how powerful it is. Ed Slott, a guy we've had on the show, and he does a lot of PBS specials. He absolutely loves a Roth. As he says, you're locking in your rate now. And we've talked about this in my classes and in my workshops. I ask the class, what do you think taxes will do over your retirement? And they all give me a thumbs up that they're going to go up. So with taxes being artificially low right now, I tell anyone who will listen to me, do the Roth 401k. And if you can do the Roth if you can do just the normal Roth, do that as well for you and your spouse. And then after that, look into Roth conversions because Peter, you and I have talked about this. We know what taxes are today. We have no idea where they're going in the future, and history says these are the lowest we've seen since the 1980s.
And we know that taxes are going to be a fact of life before, during, and after retirement, right, Tim?
So true.
Ben Franklin, with his famous quote, two things in life can be said to be certain, death and taxes. And sometimes it just feels like they tax us to death and then after death too. But Roth, a great way to at least head that off and get in front of it, right?
I would agree. And I love the power of the Roth. I mean, imagine you have an investment that you can put money into and they'll never tax you again
Yeah.
under the current laws. And people worry about it going away. That's a different story for a different time. But I think as we've seen in the past, it's grandfathered in. So, we need to take advantage of this stuff when they give us a gift, which is being able to do Roth conversions regardless of income. A lot of people think that that's a thing that is not.
Yeah.
We have low
I'm sure we'll talk
taxes.
about that, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, Tim, you've prepared 21 Roth questions answered, and these are big questions that we hear about Roth IRAs. I am certain we probably won't have time to get to and discuss all of these fully, but important questions. And if somebody would like to get a hold of the 21 Roth questions answered for their own purposes and education, or if they would like to make sure that they are making the best choices for themselves, for their financial future, you always welcome listeners to the program, viewers of the podcast, to give you a call, to be in touch. Welcome them into the office for a complimentary review, a retirement planning strategy session, and you custom design for folks. Again, no cost, no obligation. That retirement income blueprint, the Protect and Grow retirement income blueprint, a written plan for surviving and thriving through retirement. And ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to have that conversation, would like an investment analysis, would like a plan for your retirement that you can hold in your hands and then refer to and count and depend on for your financial future, pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns, CFP, and TJ Stearns Inc. a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, you mentioned that not enough people are very well versed in Roth. But we're starting to be, right? Because I think more and more Americans are pushing their retirement dollars toward Roth. So we're beginning to get the gist. The Center for Retirement Research recent stats said that Americans hold about $1.4 trillion in Roth IRAs. Now, that is only about 10% of the total IRA assets, but that's a big shift from where we were 15, 20 years ago.
I agree, but I still think, and I mean, we're doing a whole radio show about it. That's how important we think it is to spread the word that, if you want to get in on it, let's pay taxes today at artificially low numbers that we've ever seen. And then, whether it's for you or down the road, it's still, a great thing to have for your family and your beneficiaries.
Well, let's go through some of these questions. And again, if you would like all 21, just in case we don't have time to get to all of them, ladies and gentlemen, give TJ Stearns Inc. and Tim Stearns CFP a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Better yet, if you'd like to talk all of these questions and more through and then apply them to your situation so you know how to utilize the Roth or the traditional or the combination of both best for your situation. That is the strategy session. So give a call, 800-640-2256. So number one, Tim, what is the ultimate benefit of a Roth? Why is the Roth valuable compared to other options we may have?
Well, we've talked about this that, pay me now or pay me later is what taxes are all about. So I would rather pay you on a smaller sum now and let it grow to be bigger. That's as simple as it can get. So I would say that I don't know anyone in America who would say, you know what, I'll pay more later. Regardless of your party affiliation, no one wants to pay more taxes. So why not lock in today?
And the IRS, like I feel like they figured this out a long time ago when people were just starting their 401ks that, hey, don't pay your taxes today. It sounded so good, but then the accounts grew and grew and grew. And then it came time for the IRS to harvest that tax bill that had not been paid. Maybe not that we did things wrong by deferring and delaying, but we sure built up a big tax bill, Tim.
Right. And that's one of the reasons that we offer that website, www.mvp, most valuable player, cfp.com, that if they want to run a number to show you, boy, if I do taxes today or I do them tomorrow, what that looks like, that's a heck of a contrast. And I think it's a very powerful tool. And that's why we made a website for it.
Yeah, good throwing out the website when it specifically pertains to the topic and a benefit I think for anyone to see it.
Yeah.
Tim, you've mentioned numerous times. Most people can tell you within pretty close range what their retirement balance is, but almost no one can tell you how much they'll pay in taxes on that balance. Well, that's what the calculator is for, and it's available, ladies and gentlemen, MVPCFP.com, MVPCFP.com if you'd like to see your retirement tax bill calculator and projection, and then side by side what you might be able to bring that bill down to if properly planned and executed. And the difference is staggering, eye-opening. So go check that out, mvpcfp.com. Tim, in addition to the pay me now or pay me later, pay me now while you're earning a paycheck versus pay me later when you're not planning on earning any more money. One just seems easier to me.
Well, I would agree with that. I mean, that's why we're telling people to get after it, you know?
Right.
I mean, these are opportunities. Let's cut down to brass tacks here. If they don't make changes in Congress to extend the current tax bill with these, income tax rates being so low, then we need to be careful, that we take advantage of these moments because they might not happen again. Historically, our income tax rates have been much higher. So locking in today and accentuating what that tax bill is right now is not the worst idea. One of the things that we always want to say to people is, am I telling you to advocate for you to go out and, convert $1 million into a Roth? No. But if there's room within the current tax rates where you kind of operate, why would you not nibble on that tax bill?
Yeah.
At least get started on it because if it's not you, it's your beneficiaries who will be paying.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is we almost have three, if not four generations all paying their taxes all at once, and we still can't balance a budget. We've got the retirees pulling money out of those tax deferred accounts. We've got the workers working, creating income, that's taxed. We've got the younger generation who seems to be catching on to this Roth story and saving
Yeah.
most of their, and then we've got this great wealth transfer where one generation's passing away, passing wealth on to the next,
Right.
and that generation's. So all of that, and yet we still can't balance a budget, Tim. I think that clearly says you're probably right. The taxes go up into the future. So all that being said, talk about the benefits of pay me now and be done with taxes. What are the disadvantages of a Roth IRA?
Well, the number one would be that you have to pay your taxes up front. So let's say I'm going to do a $10,000 conversion. More than likely, I need to come up with, let's say I'm in the 22% tax bracket, I'd have to come up with $2,200 just to keep things really simple. All
Yep.
right. But that money then grows tax free. So what I always tell people, the rule of thumb should be hopefully you have cash on hand to pay those taxes, versus taking the money from that $10,000 and using some of that money to pay the taxes. That kind of defeats the purpose in my mind. So we advocate for people to have the money on the sidelines. And my gosh, I have a lot of people who are sitting on the sidelines because they're worried about, what's going on with tariffs and volatility in the stock markets and that type of thing. Right now it'd be a great time to do a Roth conversion and use some of that cash that really is just being lazy.
Yep. Again, planning helps you identify and seize on opportunities when they are available, such as that, ladies and gentlemen. If you got some idle cash, you know you want to prepay those taxes, you want to do it at a low rate, may make sense, especially if you've got a plan that helps you identify how much and to work within that bracket. And that's why the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Plan not only addresses income, yes, income obviously, it's in the name, but the tax implications of the income you might create and the tax implications of the investments that help you create that income. So again, if you'd like that written retirement protect and grow blueprint, pick up the phone, give Tim Stearns, CFP, TJ Stearns Inc. a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, I'd also say another disadvantage in my mind, whenever the government gives us something good, they always limit how much we can take advantage, and the
Sure.
Roth is no exception there.
Well, okay, so if you're under the age of 50, you could put in $7,000. And if you're over 50 for 2025, you could do $8,000. That being said, right now at this time of year, we could actually double up and make contributions to there. Now that's one thing, but there is no limit on what you can do as a conversion.
Hmm.
So, and again, I'm not telling people to put millions of dollars and change overnight to this Roth situation, but I do think it's something to at least kick the tires on. And I don't see a lot of advisors having talks with their clients. That's why a lot of people are calling in and asking us, "Can I sit down with you?" My advisor never even brought it up.
Tim, I hate to think this, but is there a potential conflict of interest there where an advisor wouldn't bring up converting to Roth because it takes money out of the account that they're managing? Like,
But
I genuinely hate to think that might be the case, but at the same time, I know advisor compensation is based on how much we're managing there.
Well, if that is the idea, I mean, as a fiduciary, that's shame on them.
Yeah.
I've been a fiduciary since 1994, so I'm going to tell my clients the pros and cons of why they should do it, and I'm pro on this. I would definitely say this is a very positive conversation to have with people. And you do it while you can, as far as contributing fresh dollars too, because like you said, they also limit what your income is that you can participate in this, but they do not do that with conversions.
Yeah. And the opportunity not promised to us forever. And even while it's here, limits and limitations.
Sure.
If you make too much, Tim, it gets a little bit more complicated. Not that the door is completely shut and locked. We'll talk about that in a moment. But to get new dollars in, if you make more than 150,000 to contribute the full amount, you cannot, right? You
Right.
cannot do that over 100 as a single individual or over 236,000 as a married couple. But you did mention no income limit on conversions,
Right.
and the Roth 401k has some different rules because it's an employer sponsored group plan.
Right. Roth 401k, they don't care how much you make. You can participate up to the full limit of, uh, depending on your age, what you can put in. And it's a heck of a lot more than $7,000 and $8,000. So those are things that we're exploring with our clients. The Secure Act added, 11,500 that you can put in if you're 60 to 63 years old. Some great opportunities out there for us, and you got to make sure that your advisor is having that conversation with you. And if you're out there wondering, what am I talking about? Give us a call, and we don't charge for our time, but we will give you some good advice that you should be looking into, either A, putting money into a Roth, or B, putting into a Roth 401k, or C, doing some Roth conversions.
Well, Tim, you've been talking about the, 50 and 60 to 63. What about those younger savers and investors? Like it's a great idea, the younger that you are, to have that tax-free growth over an entire lifetime. But is there ever an age where we are too young or can't participate in a Roth yet?
No, and I will tell you, I have three sons, and every time they worked when they were in high school, they were putting money into a Roth. And now they're out in the real world, two of them are, and they're doing Roth 401ks. And they're funding their Roth separately because they haven't been phased out with the incomes yet.
So safe to say this is advice you would give your own family.
That easily, yes, I love
How,
the idea.
how about on the other side, Tim? Are we ever too old for a Roth?
That is a very good question, but normally I don't think so. You need to be careful if you're doing conversions for the taxation on Social Security, and then IRMA could rear its ugly heads, which is, where they charge a surcharge on your Medicare benefits per month because you've made too much, or you've converted, because most of the money would be income. So those are things you need to be worried about. But I've seen when we run the numbers that to pay IRMA for a year because you did these conversions over the long haul definitely makes sense, because it's going to save you in taxes extraordinarily a lot amount of money.
Can I convert my RMD, Tim?
No, you cannot. Oh, it's a forced, RMD is a forced distribution out of your qualified retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, and that type of thing. So the after-tax RMD amount, however, it could be used for further investments, that you could go, we've seen people put them in life insurance policies, 521s for the grandkids, muni bonds, that type of thing. So they're not paying taxes again. That's a different way to look at it.
Um, you can convert in the same year as you take an RMD, though, right? Like you have to take the RMD first, but
Yes.
after you take the RMD, just because you're 73 or above and eligible, or required, not eligible, required to take that distribution, doesn't mean that you can't do it on money over and above that RMD amount.
That's correct. You can do that. The other thing that people worry about is, well, does that start the 5-year hold rule? Which it does, but you can take out contributions and the conversion amounts. You just can't take out, quote unquote, the earnings.
Yeah.
And
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 I
so
know that
it's
that was another question that you wanted to address. Like, how long do I have to wait to make a withdrawal? Because the original amount versus the growth, there's some different implications there. But I will say, like, the value of the Roth, Tim, seems to be in the growth after the contribution or the conversion,
yeah,
not in the contribution or conversion itself. So it's not like you would want to contribute or convert money that you plan on using almost immediately. Like that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense in my mind, right?
and I agree with that. But there are different ways, the qualified withdrawals can include, first time home purchases, if you're totally and permanently disabled, that type of thing, or being the beneficiary of the original account. So there are ways to get money back out of it. It's not like a permanent situation, but you know, you have to probably consult your tax advisor. We have a CPA on staff, so that makes that pretty easy.
A benefit of working with the team.
Yeah.
And having the team approach of TJ Stearns Inc., ladies and gentlemen, you get to see it from all sides: the tax side, the financial side, the estate and the legal side. Like the coordination of your planning is of benefit to you. You could have the best planners independently, but the communication that they have is going to determine your outcome. So give TJ Stearns Inc. and Tim Stearns CFP a call. Find out how those different areas interplay and what a benefit that means to you when they do. 800-640-2256 is the number to call. 800-640-2256. Tim, we're obviously not going to get through all of these questions, only on number 8. And I'm not sure that number 8 of the 21 Roth questions answered truly has an answer that you can give me directly, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Which is better, Roth or traditional tax deferred?
Well, if you put me on the spot like that, I would say a Roth.
Okay.
Today. Now, let's say they don't get their act together and they don't pass an extension of the current tax bill, the income tax rates are going up, then we'd have to look at it, and then there's obviously we have the software to take a look at it both ways. But right now, today, I would definitely say a Roth. I like that to pay the taxes when I know they're low, and then to have that money grow. I'm 53 years old. Chances are I'd live on average 85 years old. That's a lot of growth in a Roth.
What if I am earning significantly more than my expenses, though, Tim? Like, what if during my working career, me and my spouse are making a super healthy income? We're maxing out 401ks, both of us each year, still have extra money to save. We're earning 250,000 more dollars, but our living expenses are actually like significantly lower, 100,000 or
Yeah.
less. Like, doesn't that play into the question of which side to save on a little bit, a lot?
Yeah, it definitely does a lot. I mean, there's other ways to put money away, like life insurance that has living benefits, for long-term care. If you're stuffing all these things full of cash and you're looking for other investments, that's what my wife and I did. We maxed out all of our other stuff, and I knew that 7 out of 10 chance I'll need long-term care, so we did a life insurance policy that has those living benefits. If I can't do two of my activities of daily living, or I'm, cognitively impaired, then I'm able to actually, use that money for my care.
Not even halfway through all of these questions, Tim, and we are running short on time. So right through a few of these. Will my company match my Roth 401k contributions?
Usually they do. I just had a client in the other day that they say they have to be in their traditional 401k side, which shocked me. I've never heard of that.
Hmm.
But either way, they will match. You might have to do so. You know what the client did, and I loved it, is he doubled up and made sure that he was doing 6% on each side. So that he got the match from the one, but he's also, putting some money away Rothwise. Tax diversification never hurts anyone.
Right. Yeah, having a little bit of both gives you choice options, flexibility down the road, right,
I
Tim?
agree.
How do you track them though? If you've got a 401k with both Roth and traditional, like I don't know enough to keep track of all of that, right? I don't think the average person does. How does that stay tracked and differentiated?
Well, they have a third party administrator, a TPA, they call it, that will keep track of that. So when your statement comes, it tells you, this is pre-tax, this is after-tax money, and they will keep very good care of those dollars to make sure that they're not, commingling.
And when I do retire, Tim, I've got to roll those out into separate accounts, right?
Absolutely. A to B, you need to make sure that the Roth stays on the Roth side and the 401k stays on the IRA side.
How much does a Roth cost, Tim? And what will my returns be on a Roth?
Well, it depends on what the vehicle you're in. The S&P 500 is going to give the same return to a Roth versus, the 401k. So that doesn't matter. But again, they're going to be keeping track of it on your statements.
The Roth or traditional indicates the tax status, not what it's invested in.
100%. Yes. So it's going to invest in the same thing. That's what dictates what your return would be.
Tim, I know you touched on this already, but let's go through the drawbacks to Roth conversions again. Specifically, you talked about IRMA and Social Security implications as well.
Right. I mean, there's things like that. There's also that, you need to be 59 and a half. That would be one of the major ones unless you're buying a new house. The taxes that you must pay to get dollars into a Roth could be considered for your Social Security as well as Medicare premiums. So that you need to be careful with that type of thing too.
And for Social Security, they look back 2 years at income.
That's right.
So like you need to start
Yep.
thinking about
Yep.
Medicare at 63 if you're doing Roth conversions, right?
That's correct. So, but there's still a sweet spot, even at age 63, 64, and 65 to be doing these. When you figure you have another 20 years on average for a male and, 23 years for a female. I love the Roth conversions, and I think it's a great opportunity for us.
I think that there are a lot of people sort of waking up to the realization of what a Roth does and its benefits
Sure.
and asking themselves and others, why wasn't I told about this before?
Well, I don't know if every advisor is up on this. You need to have, in my mind, you need to have someone besides a money manager, someone who's going to quarterback you through taxes as well. And this is a great way to do it, is by making sure your clients know that, hey, there's this opportunity that you don't want to miss out on.
Yeah. And you gave the timeline, like the 401k, the traditional tax deferred, it's called traditional because it's been around a long time since
Right.
1974 ERISA, but the Roth IRA was not introduced until 1997 and the Roth 401k almost a decade
2006.
later, 2006. So
Yep.
it like we shouldn't kick ourselves for not participating in something that wasn't even in existence.
I would agree with that. I mean, but there's no time like the present to get into it.
And they have not been around forever. Tim, there's no promise that they will be around forever.
That's correct. But we've talked about this. We figured that they would grandfather it in, so you're not going to get taxed again or something like that. But we need to take advantage of things that are good for us when they're here.
Well, taxes are a big financial issue. Savers and investors want to keep as much and more of their money if possible to be as stable as possible. We need to keep more of our money, every effort that we can. The Roth IRA, the Roth 401k, they are useful tools to help achieve this. And Tim, you talk with your clients about all of the tools available and then help them design that blueprint to figure out which tools are the most valuable for them.
Right. There's a lot of things out there, and we need to have a talk. It's not a cookie cutter plan. We're doing it for each individual based on what they want. Some people are like, the heck with it. I don't care if my kids have to pay taxes, and some are like, well, I want to take care of it now because I don't want them to have to pay taxes. So we can do it both ways, but either way, it's not cookie cutter.
Well, even if I didn't care if my kids ended up having to pay taxes on money they didn't earn, I still don't want to leave the IRS as my largest beneficiary. And Roths are a way to ensure that, or help to ensure that. And again, there are so many benefits, so much value in having a plan. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to know the best investment? It is the plan that you have that tells you where all the investments that you have come into play and will be used and utilized. And the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Blueprint is that plan, that document that you have to tell you when and how and where to use all of the tools, and maybe some to stay away from, but uncovers all of the pitfalls and the surprises and helps you plan and map out that path forward. So if you'd like that Protect and Grow Written Retirement Blueprint, pick up the phone, give Tim Stearns, CFP, a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, always a pleasure having you here on the program, helping us to protect and grow our money.
Peter, thanks for having me.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals or growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.